Hello then, welcome to the Breakfast Connect show on Africa Business Radio. My name is Rachel and it's time to get into our guest segment. Today, I'll be talking about the e-Naira. You're aware that the process will commence on October 1st. Just a few days from now, and there are still concerns hovering around this decision by the CBN. Well, joining us to give clarity on this topic is Adolophus Aletor. He is the Managing Director, Rigo Microfinance Bank, Business AM columnist, and is going to give us, insight and clarity into the decision of the CBN and what people think about it, the benefits, and all of that. Good morning, Mr. Adolphus. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning.
Thank you. I'm excited as always, Rachel.
The last time you were here, the last time we had conversations, it was around Nigeria's debt profile. And to my listeners, if you missed out on that particular conversation, very interesting. It's already up on our podcast channels and it's up on our website, www.africabusinessradio.com. So, Mr. Adolphus, welcome again to the show. We're expecting the e-Naira system to commence on October 1st. And the CBN, they've made certain moves to somehow, gain the trust of the already dismayed Nigerian populace. They've said that the transactions with e-Naira is going to be easy. It's going to be seamless since it will be issued by the monetary authority. They also made it clear that the digital currency introduction will help promote financial inclusion in the country. And now, Mr. Adolphus, how exactly is this going to work? What will the process be like?
Okay, Rachel, in Nigeria today, many of us are looking up to something to celebrate. So we're happy that the central bank is giving us an independent gift. So we have something to look up to. Isn't that good enough? All right. So the e-Naira, I like to look at it from the point of view of the masses, first of all. Don't forget, Rachel, that this idea came up when all of a sudden the government banned the use of cryptocurrency in Nigeria.
True.
And the CBN, in reaction to the pressures from the citizens, had announced the evolution of e-Naira. At that point, many people had that misrepresentation that CBN was introducing e-Naira as an alternative or as a localized cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But many of us had quickly reacted to that, and there have been, of course, I have had previous articles addressing that the e-Naira is not the same thing with cryptocurrency. But that was before the release of the dynamics of the e-Naira. And true to their talk, the CBN had come up with an elaborate architecture of how the e-Naira is going to run. And many people have looked at it, and that creates more worry because it has become clear the direction that the CBN is going to take. And when you review that dynamics, you just realize that the e-Naira is a digital fiat currency. Okay, by digital fiat currency, we are talking about just the money that you and I know, the currency that you and I know, the dollar, the pounds, the pound sterling, the naira. So, but instead of it being in a physical form, it's now in a digital form. So that's the difference. Okay. So now at dynamics that it is just a payment system. It is not going to be for investment purposes. It is not going to be. There's no value. It is not going to add any value in terms. It does not have any intrinsic value, per se. But it is just going to be used as a means of exchange. So which means instead of giving somebody a physical naira, you are going to give somebody a digital wallet, the digital currency that you see. So that is what it has come to be, and that's what we expect. That's what we expect in on.
All right, so you wrote a report on this. In fact, you reacted to the concern about why the Central Monetary Authority proposes a digital monetary system that mimics the unapproved cryptocurrency, the one that runs on a novel blockchain technology. Tell us more about this. I know you just mentioned that, the e-Naira is not here to replace cryptocurrency, but to some persons, it really doesn't make sense, especially when it's coming at the back of the CBN's mention of disapproving the cryptocurrency.
Okay, Rachel, I think that, this is my opinion. Looking at the e-Naira as being a parallel payment system to what we already have in existence, I think that the CBN has reacted to some external pressures. Today, it's conventional to hear that countries are floating digital currencies. So the question is, does CBN just want to be, among? That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that some time ago, globally, Facebook floated a digital currency called the Libra.
Yes.
And you saw countries, reacting to that, trying to make sure that they still get a chunk of the game. So that Facebook the Libra doesn't push them out of China, to float that. China has been successful in floating their e-currency. We've also seen some other countries, especially in the Caribbean, where this whole digital currency originated: Ecuador, Cambodia, Finland, and Europe, and all that. Then, most recently, we have seen some countries, introducing what we call cross-border digital currency. You can see that between Japan, Australia, Malaysia, and South Africa. So the question now is, just like you've asked, why is the CBN doing this when what they're introducing is just a parallel means of payment? So I like to look at it from my personal opinion that, look, maybe the CBN is reacting, to external pressures. Because when you look at what they have introduced to us from that report, that the manual, that it really doesn't, the currency doesn't have value, okay? But yes, in between, you can see some trade-offs between players, CBN to do, but I feel that, in my opinion, they are reacting to external pressures.
All right. You mentioned Ecuador. I think those guys, and I went through, their plans and how they went down with the process of the CBDC. I think they were only able to carry it out for 4 years, and then they had to shut it down because the government couldn't really live up to its billing. And this brings me to how the government of Nigeria intends to implement it, because unlike cryptocurrency, which is tradable, highly volatile, and has limited use, the expectation is that a central bank digital currency will be more stable. It will have more widespread acceptance. So in light of that, give us a sense of the potential benefits that we expect to see for the Nigerian market once it is launched. It's just, around the corner, October 1st.
Yes, but with the digital currency, I see a lot of winners, okay? I also see a lot of losers. But I think that at the end of the day, the greatest winner, if the CBN is able to sustain it, will be the masses. Now, why do I say that? Today, there is so much distrust between the masses and the financial sector, especially the banks. You hear customers, give bankers all manner of names, and they said, "Oh, you want to do a transaction with the bank? There are hidden charges." So, what the e-Naira is going to provide, from what has been designed by the CBN, from the use of the wallet system, and the CBN has said, "Okay, use digital currency on the wallet system." There is absolutely no charges. It comes at no cost to the user. So instead of all those little 53 naira, 65 naira, all those charges you see following your transfers when you use your card, when you do transfers and all that from your bank account, we are going to have something that is free. So perhaps the only charges that you'll be faced with is the one that you will be required to bear when you move money from your commercial bank to your wallet. So if you decide to pay from your wallet, to make all your payments from your wallet, it's going to be free. So if you look at it from that perspective, you are going to give the CBN a thumbs up and say, hey, this is good. And the CBN has been able to solve that problem for the masses. All right? So that's a win. That's a win for you and I. Okay? But for the stakeholders, for other stakeholders in the banks, in the commercial bank today, where those monies are going to be moved from. So it means that there's going to be a run on the commercial banks where they're going to be moving money from to the wallet. So apart from the run, you are going to find out that the profitability, the bottom line of those commercial banks, they are going to deplete. Okay, so if you just oppose that against the gains from the public, you would rather that everybody would rather say, let this wallet system, let this digital currency, let it work for once. But some people at the back have these reservations of sustainability. Will the CBN be able to sustain the zero charges?
That is the question.
Because if you look at the information coming out from CBN, the technology that we are using is imported, is acquired. All right. So how is the CBN going to fund it? Are they going to fund it for the public? So, but if they do that, fine, then it's sustainable. If they are going to come back tomorrow to ask people, to now pay for those services because the services have been developed and it has reached an advanced stage, then you are going to have people, dump the use of digital currency, just like in those countries where it started, and then port and go to the traditional form of banking.
Right. Okay, just before I let you go now, sir, I want you to address another concern. We have to take note of the fact that developed countries such as the US and the UK, they seem to be taking some time to really work through how BDCs would look or how they would work, because CBDCs are also sparking some debates about data privacy. For example, some believe that officially run digital currencies could hand unprecedented power to policymakers once they launch. Is this a concern also in Nigeria? Should we be worried about this as well here?
Okay, so Rachel, privacy is one of the greatest concern, especially to the elite in the use of digital currency. I mean, it's something that people don't take lightly. I don't want people to go with the impression that the issue of privacy is not important. Okay, because for every currency that is issued, every digital currency that is issued, there's an identity. And the good thing about the digital currency is that it doesn't get destroyed except in extreme cases. So it's not like with this physical cash that is mutilated and then you destroy it after a while. So if you produce a digital currency with a serial number, the CBN is able to trace it from one user to the other for a very long time. So it doesn't get missing in the system. So there's a record of whose hands or whose account the currency has passed through. So that tells you that the system is going to have a record of everyone that have used the currency. So privacy is not guaranteed. It is opened. But how the CBN is going to be able to protect it and protect every other user is a different discussion. And just like the CBN have told us, they are doing what they are doing now just to be able to launch by 1st of October.
Yes.
Okay. And then there are still more development. So, and I believe that it's a continuing discussion. And as these issues are evolving, the CBN will take them into consideration and begin to address them. But for now, it is good for everybody to know that there's no hiding place. So if you buy into that, if you buy a quantity of digital currency, as you spend them, the system records, what you have bought and the identity of the currency that you are using, and the identity of the individual that is using it.
Yes.
So, but the CBN, in their wisdom, in the coming days, we'll be able to address this.
Oh, well, every single policy comes with its pros and cons. By October 1st and afterwards, we'll see which outweighs which, based on how it affects the economy. Thank you so much, Mr. Adolphus Aletor. It's been great having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rachel. It's always my pleasure to be on this station.
All right, have a wonderful day ahead. I've been talking with Mr. Adolphus Aletor. He's the Managing Director, Rigo Microfinance Bank. He's also Business AM columnist, and he also works with the Guardian newspaper as well. It's still the Breakfast Connection, Africa Business Radio, and I'll be right back with more. Stay here.